So we're back for day 7 of this live stream, Conquering the Inner Storm live stream. And today's topic is balancing work and personal life. So I'm excited to get to this topic today and speak about it because I know a lot of people have an issue with this. This is something that comes up all the time.
Every day.
Yeah, it seems the more we try to balance it or the more we try to be intentional about balancing it, it seems the more life throws at you. So we're going to talk about what we can do
Right.
to balance that. So yeah, and this is not, I don't find this to be a male problem, a female problem, a Black problem, a single parent, a married, everybody is struggling with this in some way. So this is a very important topic to have in a journal. And I think it kind of, comes at a perfect place in the journal as it relates to all the other topics that we've talked about thus far. If you're working through the journal from topic 1 all the way through topic 12, you would have had the opportunity to do a lot of work by now to be able to approach this topic with a more open mind and more sense of taking charge of you and your space. So yeah.
That's a great point, LaDawn.
Yeah. So Nicole, you want to jump in? Do you want to read the topic tonight?
Yes, I will be more than happy to do so. Hold on. Just before we do that, though, this is what the journal looks like, Conquering in the Storm. There we go.
Yeah.
It was not cooperating with me. Okay. So balancing work and personal life. Balancing personal and work commitments can be a challenge, but it is an important part of maintaining a healthy and fulfilling life. To balance personal and work life, it may be helpful to set goals and priorities and make time for activities and people that are important to you. Like LaDawn. It can also be helpful to establish boundaries such as setting aside time for work and time for personal activity, and to communicate your needs and expectations with your employer and colleagues. It may also be helpful to find ways to reduce stress, such as through exercise, relaxation techniques, or seeking support from others. By balancing personal and work commitments, you can create a more harmonious and fulfilling life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the overarching summary for this particular section. So I guess as we normally do, LaDawn, we go right into one word. I don't know if you want me to bump in.
Yeah, go ahead. Knock it out. Knock it out.
Knock it out. So my one word from that little excerpt that I just read, and I'm sure LaDawn is going to have something different. I'm thinking we haven't had anything.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
So it was actually a little bit of a sentence. So it's one phrase.
Okay.
One phrase is communicate needs and expectations to employers and colleagues. So when I did this initially, I was still employed with corporate, and I'll be honest, communicating my needs and expectations that I had to my employer and colleagues, as bold and as blunt as I am, that was one area that I honestly think I had a weakness in. So in my mind, uh, in my mind, making sure that, I set boundaries for when I logged off at night or after hours, not answering emails or phone calls over the weekends or holidays, or, being available when I'm on vacation. I can give you 1,000 examples. But I, in my mind, associated that as being a good employee and a good team member and a good teammate, not necessarily an infringement on kind of the separation that you need to establish the boundary so you can have better balance with work and life.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I chose that one, because that was one I realized like late in my career that I really, really suffered through. And honestly, I don't know if it's just the culture of the workforce or the workforces that I've ever worked in. But that's kind of always been the norm. And I didn't understand that that norm was very toxic
Yeah. Yeah.
until much later in my career.
Yeah. And that is the norm. And I think that's the
Mhm.
norm in most corporate, at least, work
Mhm.
environments. They expect you to trade your life for the wage that you earn, right?
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the people that are in the C-suite, the
Mm.
executives, they are so far removed from the everyday person who is really having to balance coming to work every day, getting
Right.
kids to school on time, picking kids up in the afternoon, going to little league practice and all of the things.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that they don't have those things that go on in their lives, but they have the ability to afford nannies that can take care of those things. Or they might have a mate that's a stay-at-home mate where they don't have to worry about it. So they just really don't, it doesn't translate. I don't think it
Correct.
translates well.
Correct.
And I found that to be the case across the board. Now I know that there are some organizations that are very progressive and really um live by what they say when they're
That's
talking
right.
about work-life balance. But a lot of companies need to come on up
Yeah,
with
most
that
of them
day and time. Yeah,
say it is nice, it sounds
yeah,
nice, but
yeah,
it's not really how they operate.
yeah.
So
It's cute on the website, but it's not real life
that's
in
right.
the day. So I picked one of the words that was in the phrase that you selected, and that
What?
I'm still on one word,
Okay,
3 nights in a row. So the one word I selected out of this balancing work and personal life excerpt was expectations,
girl.
because I've
Expectations.
never had a problem communicating my expectations to the job, meaning, uh, you understand that I'm a mother, I have 2 kids, and I have literally, without shame, without pause, said in an interview, I'm gonna be clear with you. If my kid called with a hangnail, I'm not asking you for permission
I'm
to,
out.
I'm out. I see you when I get back. So I've had no problems establishing those type of boundaries with an organization. I've had a problem establishing discipline, expectation for discipline with me.
I
For
got
those very things that you said, working late into the night,
you.
getting up really early to work. But I won't blame that all on corporate America, the environment. I think a lot of that had to do with my perfectionism and my OCD,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I was leading a project, especially when I was in charge of a team. I want everything to be perfect. So I would work when I could work. So when you're at work, people are coming in all the time, you're in meetings. So you just don't have time to do all the things you need to do. So
Right.
unfortunately, some of that bled over into, I come home, I cook, I sit with the boys, but when they
No, you cook a feast.
I
That's
cook,
different.
cooked, yeah. And
Okay.
so after I did that and they went off into their separate places on the computer well
Yep.
into the night. And we call it drunk sleeping. And that's when you're working and you're doing this, and next thing the computer looking at you.
Yeah.
That was me on any given day, right? And it got real bad at COVID when we were all
Mm-hmm.
stuck in the house
Yeah.
working remotely, when all I had to do was get up in the morning, shower, and walk
Yes.
across the hall to the
It
office.
made it worse.
Oh, literally, my
It,
folks just saw me when I came out to cook. It was stupid.
yeah,
It
it
was
ratcheted up 2 notches for me too.
it,
I agree
it
with you
notches. Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So I am very conscious about making sure I maintain that balance with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll set the expectation. I'm not answering the email on vacation. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. Yeah, no, I'm not.
See, and I'm no longer this person, but I
Yeah,
was the type like, well, it's such and such need a such and such, and they got a such and such, and I'm the only one who's able to solve that problem,
yeah, no,
obviously. So
no.
I
If
got
I
to check
put
my
in for the
emails in the
request,
morning, and I got to check my emails like around 2, and I came up with all these rules. Now
yeah,
there were times where I was specifically told, hey, if you want to progress your career, this is the type of
yeah,
commitment you got to have.
yeah.
But I have grown to understand that, that all of that comes at a very grave and detrimental cost.
It does. Health,
Health and your time.
family, family time. Yeah,
Family,
yeah.
that's it.
I played that game too, but it was not necessarily because they told me. I just thought that's what you had to do in corporate America, right?
Right,
But yeah, I'm middle finger at this point, like, because
right,
I know at the end of the day, it's either going to get done or it's not, and
right.
it's not going to stop your $1 billion corporation because I didn't check my email on vacation. Like, if you approved the vacation for me to go, then you knew,
Makes sense.
and that's
Makes
that
sense.
on that, as they say, and that's the post.
Yeah. So that's the post. Do we
That's the
who
post.
do we have joining us today so far, Ladon?
Well, yeah, thank you, RPJs, Reimagined Potential
Yeah.
Journalers. We have Verna, Lydia, Ron. Thank you, Kim. Kim joined us. Betty Walker and Felicia Taylor are watching.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. And I see others up at the top again. Say hello, type your name in so I can see and give you a personal shout out. I don't want to miss anybody, but thank you guys for joining us tonight. And
And even if you don't have the journal, when you think about balancing work and personal life, what is one word that comes to mind to you? Put that in our chat for
oh
us.
yeah, please,
Yeah,
please.
just one word for you. It didn't have to be out of the excerpt I just read, but what is one word that comes to mind for our RBPJers, our RPJers? Um, when you think about balancing work and personal life, the one
Yeah.
word that comes to mind for you.
And it can be good or bad. If the one
Yeah,
word that comes to mind is
you know,
stress, then put
eh,
that in.
if you done been here a couple of nights, you know it can be good or bad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think you have the first quote and question for
Okay,
tonight.
I think I do. Let's go ahead and see what we're talking about. Okay, so the first quote is work to live, don't live to work. I know.
Mm.
And now I've heard this since I was a little girl, either work to live, don't live to work, or eat to live, don't live to eat,
Yeah.
all of that. But what I wrote though was when I thought about that quote at the time that I did this was I want to live a life full of passion and purpose. This assures me that I will not work a day in my life. I need to change my perspective from work to enjoyable tasks that bring me fulfillment and success.
Okay.
That was what I was thinking about, and I was going to work through on an acronym, and then I didn't uh, get it finished. But now it looks like I just had a word to come to mind. So work, the W means worry. I want to be worry free. O means I want to be over it. I want to be over the shenanigans, right? Because it's really crazy with a K.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I came up with,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
really crazy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be worry free and over doing things for everyone else that made other companies, managers, supervisors, department teams, regions. I mean, be successful at all their goals at my expense, at a huge expense to me. I was just done with it.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think,
wanted I wanted my work to be more, oh, I'm doing things for my purpose fulfillment, and that didn't feel like work to me.
yeah. Yeah. And I think we're taught, I think Americans are taught to or are groomed to work and to work this way. And for you to get that top job, you have to sell your life.
Yeah.
For you to have the
Yeah.
American dream, you have to sell your life. But in addition to just being an American citizen, I think we double down on that for blacks and for females. You have to come twice as hard. You have to be twice as good if you're black, and you have to be thrice as good if you are a
Right.
black female. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we while we don't want to work to live, we've been taught that. So it's a whole unlearning, I think. So yeah, I agree with what you said. It's an unlearning that we have to do. So what about your question?
Yep.
Don't forget to put your word in the
Yep.
chat
Your one word. Your one
yeah,
word.
when you think
Uh,
about work-life balance. What's your one word?
and for the question is, are you intentional about integrating activities that bring you joy into your daily experiences?
Daily.
And I can
Daily.
say no, much better, but no. But then I want a list of things that would make me feel probably some joy and happiness on a daily basis. These are the things that bring me happiness and joy. So I'm not intentional. I'm more intentional, but I don't think it's a habit or routine just yet.
Okay.
Um, Sports. I love sports. Pretty much anything sports. You that's brings me joy in my daily interactions. Skating, roller skating, travel, humor, uh, humorous as it relates to text messaging. And if you guys have my number, I probably am a serial TikToker. So
Yeah.
if you're getting TikToks from me at 2 in the morning, I'm okay. I'm just laughing. I'm just letting you know. Family time is I mean, time with family and friends is very important to me. I would love to incorporate that in my daily experience and fruit bowls. So if y'all have not gone to Blend Friends yet,
Not the whole promo.
if y'all have not been to Blend Friends,
Oh my
Ladon
God.
has introduced me to this place called Blend Friends. It is off Washington Road, right off Camp Creek, right by the airport.
So now it's already crowded when we go. Now you're just gonna put
That
it out there on Front
yeah,
Street.
that brings me daily joy. Like I don't eat one every day, but it brings me daily joy. I would like to get to a place where it brings me daily joy in my life experience. I have Blend Friends saved as like a favorite contact in my phone. I'm like, it's like Mama, Ron, Trey, Blend Friends.
That's right.
There we go.
And it's the truth. The only reason I'm not mad is because they're Black owned, and we want to support. But baby, it is. I don't know if I can say this on the internet, but I am. It is crackalicious.
It's
It's
crack
crazy. So yeah,
delicious. It
I could
is.
see that being a goal for a daily enjoyment.
That's the goal of mine.
But I love your list because I think when
Yeah.
people look at journaling, they think that it has to be something deep and introspective, and you got to reach down to the depths of your soul. And sometimes the journals, the prompts take you there. But
Right.
just basic enjoyment. I want to skate. I want to sit down and watch a game.
That's right.
I want to step back enough
Yeah.
from my
Going on a
day.
walk. Going
Yeah,
on a walk.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you listed things that people could relate to.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
Lydia said fulfill as it relates to work-life balance, and Ron said being reflected. Okay,
Nice.
okay. So were you finished with your answer on that particular
I
question?
was.
Okay.
So my final answer is, are you intentional? I'm more intentional. I am not intentional on a every day I wake up and I'm like, ooh, I got my list of things. It doesn't always include 30 minutes for something or an hour for joyous experience, but I will be adding that.
Okay. Okay. And you, as you should.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everybody again, we are on day number 7 of our 12-day Conquering the Inner Storm live stream. And tonight's topic is we're talking about work-life balance. You need
Yeah.
to balance your work and personal life. And go out on Etsy to purchase the copy of the book. I will drop a link in the description of this video where you can go purchase the journal as well. So, quote question number 2,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Well, question number 2. Okay, so number 2, the quote is, the goal is not to balance work and personal life, but to create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling in both spheres.
Mm, mm.
Stuart Friedman.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
I'm jealous of people that found out how to do that real early.
Uh,
It's an art to that. It's an
this but this new generation,
oh,
it's
they don't
like,
give it. Yeah, they
yeah,
like I
they're like
ain't got that
they
life.
came at the birth canal knowing
But
work and life
you're
has
not
to
gonna
be a
enslave
balance.
me. Yeah, you're not gonna enslave me. I'm gonna enjoy life, and I'm not gonna wait till I'm 80 to do it. Yeah, I
That's right.
respect it. I respect it.
I
Yeah.
do too. So I would say, oh, so for this quote, the way this quote spoke to me is that I look at my work and personal life, and I try now more so I try to merge them together and overlap them, so I'm living purposeful while living this blessed life. So again, I'm really, 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 in case y'all can't hear me, I'm really trying to take the word work out of my vocabulary like altogether. Like I really
Okay.
don't want to ever use that word. Like when someone says, "Where does your husband work?" or "Where do you work?" or "What do you do?" I want to have a totally different answer. What the answer is today, I don't know, but I want to have a totally different answer as to what I do.
So I feel like you're going towards it, and I'm not gonna say it correctly, but
I don't,
if you
I don't
find
know.
something that you love to do, then it's not
Right.
work.
Correct.
You're going
That's
there.
what I'm
Okay,
going towards.
okay.
Because I think work has so many negative connotations attached to it.
Yeah.
And I'm again, you trying to filter all of that negative stuff out. And for me, work brings up like traumatic experience. Like
Mhm.
I've had some effed up places that I worked and some effed up experiences. And I'm like, I just don't want to use that four letter word no more. I want to use something else.
Now,
It's just for
rarely do
me.
you hear people
Yeah,
say the
it's like I'll
four-letter
use that
word
four-letter word. I
work,
like
but
using
yeah,
the F
it feels the
word, but
same.
work is the word I don't want to use no more. I want
It
to,
feels the same. I get
yeah.
that. I get that.
And
And
career
Kim,
sounds nasty. The career ladder sounds nasty. All of that's nasty right now. So, but that's at my fabulous 48-year-old self. So, if you're 24 and you're on this call and you're like, oh my gosh, she's crazy, live long enough,
yeah, yeah.
live long enough.
Or learn
That's my
early.
goal. That's
Learn
right. Or
early
learn early.
how to do what you're talking about now. So
That's
yeah.
right. So
Kim
my
Chambers
goal
said,
is not the balance, but for them to be one, and I no longer have to say the W word again.
okay, okay. Kim Chambers said, yes, yes.
Yeah, Kim.
Let's balance this thing out.
Get
Work
it.
is
Get it.
not something that is going to take over our lives. So what
Right.
about your question?
My question was, what elicits joy in both your personal and professional life?
Okay, before
So,
you answer, I
yep.
really want the RPJs, the Reimagine Potential Journalers, to put
Uh-huh.
something in the chat related to that. What elicits joy in both your personal and professional life? So if you're retired, you can think back to, when you were working, but definitely you can put something in the chat that makes you joyous in your personal life. Please put that in chat. I'm curious to see what makes people happy. All right.
Yeah, I should. I'm multitasking. It's not my thing. Obviously, I'm like, Mom, I'm on a call. Okay. All right. So, what elicits joy in my professional life? Again, this is written down was a while ago.
Yeah.
Helping others through coaching and mentoring. Guess what? I do that right now
Yeah.
for Reimagine Potential. It still brings me joy. And that was one of the things that brought me joy as a professional. Maintaining and positive relationships was one. And then when I leave work, that brings me joy when I leave my job. When it's 5:30, I'm in the car or I done turned off my phone. I am joyous. That was at the time. So
Okay. Okay. That
yeah,
that feels like freedom.
it does. It feels
Okay.
like freedom.
So Lydia put in Lydia and Ron both put travel or things that bring them joy in their personal life.
All
And I
right,
can relate. If I could live on something that was moving, I don't care if it was a plane, a ship, a rocket,
a
a
raft.
speedboat. If I could live on it, I would be on it. So Tasha, thank you for joining us. And we asked all of the members in the chat, the RPJs, the Reimagine Potential Journalers, to put something in the chat that elicits joy in both their personal and professional life. So please share what brings you joy, Tasha. Thanks for joining us.
And so for personal, things that bring me joy is gratitude. Protecting my boundaries has started to bring me joy. I've gotten better at it. So now
Mm,
to see it
mm.
actually working brings me joy. And people are not, uh, surprisingly, are not offended. Now they're like, oh, Nicole comes with some things she's willing to do and not negotiate on. So gratitude, protecting my boundaries, positive thinking, discovering my passion because I still think I'm in discovery mode. Not watching the news brings me joy in my personal life.
I told y'all to get on that train a long time ago because
Not
the
watching the
murder
news.
shows 4, 5 times a day is
Yep.
not it.
Not
No.
watching the news and more time to meditate. Those
Okay.
things bring me joy.
Okay.
Yep.
A great list. Great, great, great
Yeah, I
list.
was trying not to think about people. I was like, okay, just think about you for a minute, Nicole, and that's how I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Great list. Great. Was it hard to come up with those things?
Yep,
It was.
it was. 'Cause I was like, bring me joy. Hmm. Because my mind initially went through what do I enjoy doing, not necessarily things that bring me joy, but what do I enjoy doing either to bring joy for others. So I was trying to reconcile my mind. Oh no, 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 Nicole, you got to answer the question. So that's what happened.
Okay, good distinction. Okay, good, great distinction. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna move on to my quote question because I want to move through to get our special guest on tonight.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
my quote is
Uh-oh.
life is too short to spend your precious time trying to find other people's solution
Mm,
there is. And I think that's what we all do. So I think we all come here with specific gifts that we are to give away in service to others some kind of way, whether we sing, whether we dance, whether we write, whether we cook, whether we sew, whether we're artists, whatever it is, we come here with that innate ability and we learn how to perfect it as we give it away, as we work in it, right? But most of us don't have an opportunity to do that because we're working for someone else, because we are groomed to be workers. And so we're working at some organization or some company to find solutions for other people to make them wealthy so that they can enjoy life, right? So
yep.
I spent most of my adult life working for others professionally and trying to help others find solutions, right? So whether it was in my chosen industry of human resources, finding solutions for organizations or finding solutions for people within that organization, or answering the call of being a coach and then helping people find solutions to move forward in their life, helping them kind of figure out what's causing their inner storm. So I got a taste at 15 of having my own money. That's when I first started working. And so that was just like independence. You can go get your hair done when you want to, you can do whatever you want, and you don't have to ask. So that was a sense of freedom for me. It was first
Hmm.
freedom I felt as it relates to being able to manage myself, right? Find
Hmm.
solutions for myself. And
Hmm.
then in 2013 was the first time I got the courage to leave corporate America and start my own thing. And the entrepreneurial bug never left. First
Mm.
of all, let me just go ahead and tell the truth and stop lying. Hey, Chip,
Okay.
thanks for
Tell
joining
the
me.
truth, shame the devil. Tell the truth, shame the
Yeah.
devil.
So it wasn't difficult for that entrepreneurial bug to bite me and hold on in 2013 because I never wanted to work. I never ever wanted to have a job.
I don't know what that means, Ladon,
So
girl.
so when I was younger, there were things I wanted to do. I wanted to be an archaeologist, and then people told me I spoke well, so I should look into being a lawyer. Then I thought about being a news anchor, all the things. But the thing that stuck in my mind, I think from the time I was about 7, and I said this before, my grandparents, when they were retired, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Like they didn't have to get up and go anywhere. They had control of their time. They had done pretty well for themselves because they seemed to not be stressed out about money or anything. You know, they had
Mhm.
their home, they had the cars, family was always coming by. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want
Right
to be
there.
retired. I want to be
I
retired.
would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning making Kool-Aid if I want to.
But yes, no coffee, black,
Okay.
no sugar, no cream. Yeah. So it, I always knew that I wanted to be my own something, right? And so I've come into alignment with what that is. So I'm very intentional about making sure I spend my time finding solutions that will help my life. And I do that by being of service to others. And I want that to be a part of what builds my family's legacy. I want to be able to, I am a world citizen, and I want the solutions that I find through being of service to others to allow me to travel the world and do what I want to do. So yeah, I've known for a long time my desire was not to find solutions for other people so that they could live well. I wanted to live the life of retirement as early as 7 or 8 years old. So
So like 10 years ago, I would have been like, she's so bougie. Like I mean, who don't work? Who just want to travel and look gorgeous all the time? Like, that's like lame. I'm telling you what I would have thought.
yeah, I've
Now,
been like, yeah.
Yeah. Now I understand.
Ain't what you want. Because that's where I'm going. That's what I would have said. Berna said, dancing to the tune of my own drum, in other words, being my own boss, retirement at its best. Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. 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 So my question is, do you extend yourself the same grace, time, and selflessness that you give to others? I'm
Ooh.
learning to.
Okay.
I am learning to, because in my first in the one word, I was saying that I had to learn to set expectations within myself because of the
Mhm.
perfectionism, the OCD, wanting to take care of everybody else. Yeah. So I'm learning to set those boundaries for myself. So the practice of telling myself no takes discipline, especially when you are a perfectionist. You have to tell yourself, sit down sometimes. Sit down, take several seats and be quiet. So I'm learning to extend that grace and give myself permission to stop, to not be on 100 all the time, to relax and to enjoy life. I'm showing up for myself in a way that I've shown up for others.
Mhm.
Like, I'm learning to put myself for first. So my almost 2 years living out of the country,
You okay?
my whole life changed. Everything slowed all the way down to
Mhm.
where I could really see and understand how we are to be here in the earth. And it's not how we live today. And
Yeah.
so I hold on to that, and I want to make sure that even here, that I try to maintain some of that level of peace and freedom and relaxation. Like I was looking at people while I was there that had been living that life. You know, on a at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, you out on your jet ski. I want that. I want that.
Bougie.
No,
Bougie. That was
no,
just
no, they figured it out. They figured it out. So yeah, I want that. You know, I want to walk down the middle of the street like I don't hear traffic coming. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm talking about. Betty said, I'm enjoying retirement like my mother and my father. You know what I'm talking about. Yes.
All
That's
right,
the
Miss
good life.
Betty.
That is the good life. And I'm aiming for it. Well, I will say, I'm aiming for it in a new way, because I turned 50 in the Bahamas and I said I wanted to be retired at 50. And before I turned 50, I left my job. So I was retired. Now we're back into this entrepreneurial space. And I'm okay with this type of work because I get to dictate what that looks like. So that's pretty cool. All
Yeah.
right.
So
So
I got a question for you, Lada. How do you extend some grace? I think I have a hard time with extending grace. Is there
uh
anything that you do, or to our, anyone on the call, is there anything that you do that that you extend yourself grace on things?
so
Because
this
I don't do that well.
this sounds like frou frou la la, all that kind of stuff, but it really it works for me. When I
Okay.
was saying you have to tell yourself to sit down sometimes. So when I catch myself in that go 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 mode, I got to do what I got to. I have to tell myself, you are deserving of rest.
Mm,
You are deserving of just a quiet moment. You are deserving to have a moment where you're sitting down and you're not running through every problem of your own and everybody else's. You don't have to be the firefighter that puts out every fire that comes in front of you. All of them are not yours. And so I literally have to talk to myself and I have to assess, okay, is this urgent or is this important? And if it's one or the other or both, is the world gonna blow up if I don't do either of them at this point in time? And
right.
I really have to be intentional about having those types of conversations with myself. And then once I come to the answer of, okay, it's okay to sit down, making sure I don't feel guilty about it. Because what I've learned, the world does not blow up because LaDon didn't put on her fire suit today.
Mm-hmm.
People still go on.
Right.
So yeah, I just have to be very intentional about having those conversations with myself when I catch it. When it's happening, stop it.
Right.
Stop
And
it
I
cold.
can see, I mean, people around me extend me grace. They help me see that, but I don't see that naturally for myself yet.
Yeah. It's
I
hard. It's hard because you haven't done it. You've been a daughter, a sibling, a wife, a mother, an employee.
did you say Janet Jackson's body double?
Janet Jackson's Body Double,
Okay, just want to make
all,
sure we get that out. Okay.
all of those things. You've been all of those things, and none of those things calls for in the job description to give yourself grace, to think
Yeah.
of you first, to
Okay.
take time out. So yeah, you're gonna have to unlearn that behavior, and it's a lot of unlearning that has to occur. So yeah, yeah. So you guys can put in the chat, Marilyn. Thank you, Marilyn, for joining. You can put in the chat some things you've had to unlearn to make sure you do things to take care of yourself. What have you had to unlearn? What behaviors have you had to unlearn or stop in order to give yourself grace? So my second quote and question is, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your
Mm.
own actions. Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
I'm telling you, that is a bar. That is the truth, Ruth. Yeah, we can close the whole book right now.
Yeah, seriously. So, and it took a minute in this
Right,
life to
right,
get that, because we expect happiness to be the product of some things. I got the job,
right.
so now I'm happy. I got the car, so now I'm happy. I got the relationship, I got the kid, I got
Mm.
all the things that you're supposed to have to make you happy, and it's just instant. It's ready made, like oatmeal, like Pop Tarts, and that's not the case. It's
It's
not
so
the
not
case.
the case.
And it's true that it comes from your actions, and I've learned that over the past 4 or 5 years. If I'm intentional about making sure I choose for me first, if I'm intentional about making sure I put that air mask on me first before I put it on anybody else on this plane that's going down,
Right.
I can make sure I choose what makes me happy, what fills me up, what fills my tank. And a lot of times we often put pressure on everybody else to do that. And then we resent
Yeah.
they don't. Because we're running hard and we want everybody to see it and we want everybody to appreciate all the effort we're spending, all the time we're spending to make sure they're good. And sometimes people are not even asking us to do that. We're just in a mode that we do it. And then we're on empty. And then when they don't pour back into us, we feel away. And so a lot of times you're sitting around waiting and hoping that someone sees you and comes by and fills you up. And I've learned that no, no, ma'am, that's not their responsibility. It is mine. And
Hmm.
even if it was their responsibility, chances are they might not fill me up all the way in the way
Right.
that I need to be filled up. And then they might be working from low reserves too. So if they're giving me what they have, well, we both shot out here. So yeah, so I've learned to fill me up. Thank you, Doc, for joining. Let me go back and give everybody a shout out. I see Verna, Lydia, Ron, Felicia Taylor, Kim Chambers, Betty, Tasha, Chuck, thank you for joining, Marilyn and Dot. We appreciate you all joining us tonight to discuss this topic of balancing work and personal life. And I want to get through my last question and then we can bring on our special guest. So I just talked about happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. That's
Hmm.
true. And the question is, happiness is a choice. How often do you reflect on the things that bring you happiness in both your personal and professional life? So I mentioned this before, and I have to be honest. I reflect on it daily. How do you do that? I reflect on it daily because when I get up in the morning, um, I give thanks for being alive,
Hmm.
and I speak to all the things that I'm appreciative of. I speak to all the things that I know that I'm going to encounter that day, and I speak to it with the expectation of it bringing me joy. So I do it first thing in the morning, and that's a part of my meditation process. And it's just expressing gratitude for life and the things in life, right?
Right.
Expressing appreciation for the things that I've had the opportunity to experience. And
Hmm.
then I do it at night. And I said that this started off as not an exercise to calm me down or just an exercise in gratitude. It started off as an exercise to allow my mind to stop going a million miles an hour at night
Hmm.
so I could go to sleep. And so what I do every night, thank you, Terrace, for joining. I see you out there. So what I do every night when I'm ready for bed, I go through my entire day and I recall everything that happened that day that was positive, everything that I enjoyed, whether it was a conversation with somebody, whether it was a goal that I met, whether it was something that I ate, whether it was something I learned, saw on social media, whatever it is, I recount everything in my day that brought me joy that day. And I just kind of try to bring myself back to that moment. So if I had a real conversation with you and it was a great conversation and we laughed, I really try to remember what the words were and get into the feeling of how I felt when we were laughing. If I ate something, I want to recall the taste of it, the smell of it, all of that. And that calms me all the way down. And it puts me in a space of gratitude. It puts me in a space of peace. It puts me in a space of joy. And it allows for me to reflect on all the personal, and some of them are professional things that happen. And so I can recount at night how I showed up for myself and how I showed up for others during the course of the day. And that's helped me a lot. It has helped me a lot to be able to go ahead and just talk, because oftentimes I'm in the recalling state and next thing I know I'm asleep. But I've gone to sleep in a peaceful state. And a lot of people, what I've learned to do is just again, give myself grace and take care of me first. And that's shocking to a lot of people initially because they call you selfish when you're putting you first.
Yeah.
I'm okay with whatever you think, right? But I like to rephrase that from selfish to self-full. I'm very intentional about being self-full, fulfilling what I need for me. So yeah, that's what I need. So hey there, Lydia. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you
Yeah.
okay. We
Hi,
can see you
Lydia.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
So thank you for joining us
Brought my
tonight.
materials.
Okay, okay. So we are prepared. So thank you for joining us tonight on night 7 and on this topic. And I love, love, love that you are our special guest for tonight, because I know that you are just blossoming through a lot of changes, right? So
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of speak about them the way that you want to speak about them. But I thought this was a perfect topic in the journal for you to kind of speak on. So we would like for you to kind of share with us your experience with the journal.
Mhm.
How has it helped you? Is it helping you? Kind of what is it bringing up? And then kind of walk us through any of the activities that you feel comfortable sharing with us regarding this particular topic.
Okay, sounds good. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on. This is so cool. Um, I
Thanks.
really enjoyed the journal since I got it. I got it, I think, around Christmas time, and I feel like I kind of flew through it. I've dibbled and dabbled in journaling in the past, but I feel like I can get really overwhelmed with my own thoughts just having like a blank piece of paper to write out. So I think this has been really cool for me because it gives me something to have to answer a question.
Okay.
So it feels a little more like we're on the topic of work, and it feels a little bit more like doing my own work. And sometimes that works better for me than just having to sit down with my own thoughts on a piece of paper. So I have really enjoyed it. Let's see, I finished the journal actually not too long ago. So
Wow.
I have
Okay.
worked, yeah.
You never finished, ma'am. I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited. Why am I so excited? Because this is night 7 and we've had a guest
Mhm.
on each night, and they talked about the beauty of doing it individually, them
Yeah.
given that safe space to just say what they needed to say and nobody
Uh-huh.
would judge them for it. Stuff coming up that they
Mhm.
put in this journal that they hadn't even told their therapist about. They felt safe
Yeah.
talking about it here. people
Mhm.
working in groups, people talking about y'all need to make it into a workshop because it's been so impactful. Nobody, though, Lydia, has said that they finished their journal.
Yeah.
My
Yay.
gosh.
Yeah, it was like it was such a weird, like, I guess I want to say kind of spiritual experience, because I opened it and I did the first activity and then I kind of put it down for maybe like a day or two. And then something called me to go back and look at it again. And I remember specifically, I was like, I'm going to pick out the topic that's speaking to me most in this moment. So I will admit I did not do the topics in order.
And you don't have to.
Uh, mhm. I did not do the topics in order. And I picked my second topic and then it all just kind of started pouring out. And I found myself going back to it over and over and over again. And these were things that not only had I not told, like a therapist, a significant other, a best friend, a parent, whatever you want to call it, but I also hadn't been being necessarily real with myself either. So it's been a good ride. It's been a spiritual
Yay.
experience. I highly recommend. I highly, highly recommend.
Oh gosh. Oh
So
my
the
God.
top Right, yeah, it's been really, really good. So we're talking about balancing work and personal life tonight. And so that has been it's been uncharted territory for me. It's been something where I've had to like kind of force myself to be uncomfortable in order to get things done. But I am a new mom. I have a son that just turned 1, so that's super exciting. And right before I got pregnant with my son, I became a flight attendant. And it was something that I had always wanted to do. Before I became a flight attendant, I really hadn't left Atlanta too many times in my life. And so I felt that this was my opportunity to again force myself outside of my comfort zone and do something that I never saw myself doing unless I was made to do it. And I've always been of the mindset until more recently that I always like put work first, and I always believed that the person that like worked the hardest reaped the best reward. And so I was like, well, maybe if I travel for work, it'll force me to go places that I've never gone before. And not only has my career forced me to physically go places that I've never gone before, but it has forced me to mentally go places that I've never gone before. It has forced me to make home wherever I am, to learn to value the time that I spend in my physical home more than I ever had before. It's taught me to value time with my loved ones and my friends more than I ever had before, because it's harder to get together because you're on a kind of strange schedule, and so that time is harder to carve out. And so when I put in the chat earlier that my one word for this chapter was fulfill, I feel like that has a different meaning for me after working through the journal, in the sense that, like, so for example, I used to think that the person that worked the hardest got the most reward, and that if I just worked so hard and never took a day off and never took my PTO and never took sick time, that I would achieve all of my goals and that I would become the person that I wanted to be. And now that I've had a child and my work life looks different, fulfillment in the workplace and in my personal life looks different, because I feel like now my priorities are in a different place. So now I feel more like I work enough to meet my needs, and I value my time off more.
Hey,
And
okay.
I realize that, I may not be the richest person, I may not have the newest of the new, I may not always have the best of the best, but I have what I need. I have what my child needs. I have most of what I want, but what's most important is that I don't miss this valuable time with him. And so that's been an experience within itself, because I am slowly but surely realizing that nothing in life is completely permanent. And so my reality today may not necessarily be my reality tomorrow. And so I'm learning that, like, right now, I'm really in a space of valuing having a job that allows me to be off more than I'm on. So that's been my balance that I found. It's been cool.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, the beauty of having a career, well, having a career and not a job,
Mm-hmm.
having a career that you find value in and that you enjoy, that
Mm-hmm.
gives you the work-life balance that you're looking for, and that allows you to do something that you want to do anyway, travel. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're like checking all the boxes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would say that that's a pretty good start at work-life
Absolutely.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really good. I'm happy to be in the space that I'm in, and it took me kind of writing these thoughts out to be able to realize that like I was having more emotions of like fear of missing out than I was real emotions of like what it is that I truly wanted. But like these questions, like for example, I think it's the first question. Hold on, sorry. Um, yes, are you intentional about integrating activities that bring joy into your daily experience? It took answering that question for me to realize that like I was fearing more of missing out, and I didn't realize how much I was actually missing out because I was
Wow.
like sitting in the fear of missing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once I wrote down what it was that I actually wanted, I was like, oh, so I'm missing out on that stuff because I'm fearing what I'm missing out in this world that I don't even want to be in.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was
Ooh.
really cool.
Ooh.
Round of
It was
applause
really,
right
really
Oh,
there.
cool.
okay, okay.
It was really, really cool.
That's so poignant because a lot of people
Hmm.
have FOMO, fear of missing out on
Hmm.
what society tells you should be
Right.
aiming at or
Right.
going for, social media and all that kind of good
Hmm.
stuff. And it might not even be crap you want to be doing.
That's
Hello.
right.
Wow.
Hello.
And it took you writing that
Hmm.
down to come to
Yes.
the realization. Mm.
Yes. Yes. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to like, ponder life's biggest questions. I literally just had to put pen to paper and just write down what I wanted. And that was enough to say, oh, I've been missing that the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And we said that so many times through this 7 days.
Hmm.
The beauty of journaling, even if you're not a journaler, if you come
Hmm.
to it and you're willing to be open and honest, you get stuff out of your head and you put
Hmm.
it down on paper. And a lot of times stuff comes out that you don't even know is there. And it
Right.
allows you to see it in a way and sort through it in a way that really makes sense, because keeping it all up here along with all the
Hmm.
other stuff that's up there, it
Hmm.
never given room or space to really make sense of it or really deal with it. So
Yes.
in the journal is it brings so much clarity. Yeah.
It really does. It really does. I'm happy I did it, and I would honestly challenge myself and challenge other people that like have the journal to like do it and then do it again in a year
Oh, okay.
and
It-
see if your answers change.
and they better. They better, because
Yeah,
if
they
you
better.
really are doing your work,
Hmm.
every answer shouldn't be completely different, but you
Right.
should be able to see some level of growth from the
Hmm.
first time you did it, and then looking back at it a year later, you should be looking at that reading like, wow, I was there. Wow, I've accomplished this. Wow, I am so proud of myself. These are the
Hmm.
differences. These are the little changes that I've made. Yeah, it had better be different, because if it's not different, either you not done anything or you were just lying when you did it the first time.
Right. Right.
One of the two.
Right.
Either way.
Yeah.
I would say one of the things, Lydia, you just touched on that I just thought about was, I think people have the fear of saying, I want to have the solid, I'm going to call it career profession. And then you have, well, how am I going to have this lifestyle over here? So
Yeah.
sometimes maybe in conflict. And what I heard you say is that what you thought you wanted as your lifestyle actually turns out not to be the lifestyle that makes you most happy. That
Hmm.
what the things that make you most happy probably are cost effective, probably
Hmm.
some of your time, some of the things that are free, and some of the things that your job allows you to have time to do and to
Right.
enjoy wholly. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Well, share with us a
Yes.
little bit more. Was there a particular activity in the book, since you've completed the whole book,
Hmm.
but particularly in this chapter that's resonated with you that you got the most out of?
Oh, I would say I'm a stan, not a fan, but a stan for the closure letter.
Okay,
For the
well, tell
closure
us
letter,
why.
yes.
Tell us why.
What's the saying? Am I missing something?
Yeah. Oh my
A,
God, I need you to come up to 2024.
Tell me what's the saying.
a stan is just like a super fan. So imagine, like, for me, I'm a Beyonce
Oh,
super fan, right? So
okay.
if I had to say what I was a fan of, the closure letter is my Renaissance tour, if that makes it make
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
Yes,
Get
yes, the
on
closure
it.
letter is a huge deal. So for me, it's like I'm one of those people, and I can admit to this, and this was something that I probably couldn't admit to myself or to anybody else a long time ago. I don't let anything go. And
Okay. Okay.
that's
Speak your
something that I
truth.
want to change in 2024, in
Uh-huh.
2025, in 2026. It is a work in progress. But I don't let anything go, right? But the closure letter is this way of being able to kind of like, in some chapters I wrote a closure letter, I think, as you both intended it to be written. And then in other chapters I wrote like a goodbye letter to the person that I used to be.
Ooh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
In some chapters I wrote a a love letter, even though I know there's a love letter in there. I wrote a love letter to the person I used to be, but I'm like, all right, girl, it's time for you to go. Like, I loved you for a long time, but it's time for you to go. So I think the closure letter is my favorite part, because after you answer all these questions and after you pinpointed what it is that you really feel, you turn to the closure letter and you're able to say, okay, now that I know what I want, let's say goodbye to what I don't want. And I think it gives you perspective. And I think it stands as a reminder too of like, okay, I thought one thing before I started the chapter, and now I think something different. And let me write myself a reminder of why I think something different.
Okay.
So, yes, the closure letter is my absolute favorite.
So do you find yourself
Oh.
having to go back to the closure letters and say, okay, this is what I said that I'm letting go
Mm-hmm.
of? Like,
Yes.
if you're having a day and the Lydia that you said goodbye to, she shows up today, somebody triggered her
Mm-hmm.
today, and
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself having to go back and say, okay, th- th-
Yes.
this is why we put her to bed. This is why we retired her a little bit early.
Yes. All the time. And like, there are days where, like, the retired Lydia, she comes out and she's so out that I don't even really have it in me to find the new Lydia to go back and look at the closure letter. But maybe I go and get some good sleep or get a good cuddle time in with my son or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, let me remind myself of what I'm working toward. Let me remind myself of who I want to be. And it might be hours later, a day later, 2 days later, whatever, that I pick up the journal and I go back to remind myself of what I wrote. And what I also think is really interesting about the closure letter is it was really, really easy for me to write all 12 closure letters. And I have 7 of the 12 love letters unfinished.
That was going to be my next question.
Mm-hmm.
How has it informed your love
Mm.
letters, and have you been
Mm-hmm.
able to create love letters for each of the close? So,
Mm-hmm.
why?
See, that I'm still trying to unlock, but the love letters are hard. The love letters are really, really hard. Like, I think that y'all knew exactly what y'all were doing when you put the closure letter before the love letter,
Mhm,
first of
mhm.
all. And that you challenge us all to write them, because when you think about how easy it is to say, okay, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't like this about myself, I don't like that about myself, it is exponentially harder to say what you do like about yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's why I struggle, because I sit around and, like, I think about, okay, well, how can I say what I love about myself? And, like, you can say something so simple that you don't like about yourself. Like, I can say all day, like, I don't like my nose, but I can't ever say, well, I do like my hair. Like, that's so much harder. It's
Yeah.
so much harder to list off the simple things about yourself that you do like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So the love letter is challenging. It's necessary, but it's challenging.
it is necessary. And so you
That,
just
yeah,
covered
I was
so
just gonna say,
many
like,
things.
yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the journal, the love, telling yourself you love yourself is the hardest
Mhm.
part. Like you can tear yourself down all day because we're conditioned
Mhm.
to an extent to kind of wear ourselves down with this, I'm gonna say meaningless stuff, but to edify and uplift yourself, I bet you give people compliments all day, every day. Right.
Mhm.
And they know they're more important to you than you,
That's
Right.
right. That's right.
right?
But it's
Mhm.
difficult.
It's
It's
hard.
difficult.
I know it's hard, and the fact that you are aware now that it's difficult is that's the first step.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I love that she brought that up because the first night we were sharing with the RPJs, the reimagined potential journalers in the chat, how this came about from our Passion Under Fire workshop that we done, and some other things. And we were trying to figure out how we could break that up and get it out to people. And one of the exercises in there that I do is having people list things that they don't like about themselves and then things that they like about themselves. And you hit the nail on the head. They go to town writing all the things that they
Oh,
don't
they
like. I
don't.
mean,
Yeah.
they flipping paper over and writing stuff upside down in the corners and everywhere.
And
But
she's
when
saying they, she's talking about me too.
I'm talking about everybody that has ever been in one of these workshops, right? And then when we get to the part, write what you like about yourself. I get this. People looking up in the air, really thinking about what is it? And it's amazing to me.
Mhm.
So I understand going through the journal, getting things out, working
Mhm.
through things, acknowledging things, accepting things, and saying, I'm going to close this chapter. I'm going to let this Lydia rest. But then making a promise to yourself as to how you're going to move forward. You have to dig down deep because you got to
Mhm.
rely on those good things, those positive things
That's right.
about Lydia, about LaDon, about Nicole to propel you forward. And so if you're still discovering that, I could see how that could be difficult. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you
Yeah,
so
that
much
is
for saying
awesome.
that.
And so everybody in the chat right now, one thing you love about yourself.
Now, I don't want
I want just one thing. Just one thing. Oh, LaDon, you got
I
I know.
don't want it to be one person that does not respond to that.
Oh,
I'm calling names. I'm calling
we
names.
calling names.
Verna,
I
Lydia is our guest, but Verna, Ron, Felicia Taylor, Kim Chambers, Betty, Tasha, Chuck,
don't be
Marilyn,
trying to hide now. Don't be trying to
Dot,
hide now.
right, Terrace. I want each of you to put one thing in this chat that you love about yourself. I want everybody to respond to that. Put one thing in the chat that you love about yourself.
Well, Lydia, I'll tell you, I've been in your presence a few times, and one of the things that I can say I love about you is your zeal for learning.
Yes.
You are very
Yes.
open to wisdom. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, these, I'm calling them young Thundercats. These young Thundercats nowadays, they be looking at you like you're crazy, but you let it marinate and play with it, and then try to figure out, okay, like I can implement this. So I see the wheels turning,
Yeah. She's
and
very thoughtful.
then I just want your hair. And so if you can
Oh, thank you.
give me that, ma'am.
Yes.
You can
Well,
give
She's
me
thank
very
that.
you.
thoughtful.
Bail it over here. We can work that up. We can work this out. Um,
I love that too, Nicole. She's very thoughtful. She's very introspective, and you can have a conversation, and she's not afraid to go there in the conversation, and she's not afraid to listen, right?
yeah,
Not just hear the words that you're saying, but listen, really process, and then think about them and reflect on them. And then when it's the appropriate time to put it into play, she's willing to try. So yeah, that so refreshing because we don't see that all the time.
yes.
Yeah.
We do not
So
see
I
Yeah,
love that
that's
about it.
true.
So if you need to write that love letter about one thing about you, that's one thing. You got one thing now.
Okay, I just see two people. Verna said personality. She loves her personality.
I
Ron
love your personality too.
Ron said patience. Okay, am I just not seeing everybody else's what I love about themselves? I'm not seeing it come through.
So I'll while they're thinking about it, because it's a little harder.
Mhm.
One thing I love about me is my competitive edge. I'm like, yeah, if you're saying no, it can't be done. I'm gonna figure out a way. Like I am probably competing with you, and you have no idea that I'm competing. No one's competing with me, but I'm always in I gotta beat you mode.
Okay.
And it could
Okay.
be bad, but I
Mhm.
love that about myself.
Yeah. Carlos put my humanity. He loves his humanity.
Oh yeah,
And
Carlos, I love that.
I love that I love me.
Mm.
Because everybody does it, and that has been a journey. I have never not liked me, but I've not always been confident about all of me. And I love the fact that I love me. Like there's just one song by Sabrina Claudio, and she's talking about being confidently lost. I'm confident in where I am in my life right now. And I'm not looking for anything to complete me, anybody to find me. I'm okay in my space. And I love that because I feel free. I feel like I have a different sense of peace in my life. And I love that. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else in the chat? Now
I,
do
I, I was gonna say, whoever that person named Ron is, whoever that guy name is,
Mhm.
I'm hoping he's single. Like to get those digits.
I'll go ahead and put that in the chat.
Okay, okay. Can you hook that up for me, LaDon? Because I
And
need some patience in my life.
Felicia says she loves her drive, and Kim said the way people assume how I move is easy. So she moves the
Oh,
way how
okay.
people assume she
Make it
moves.
look
Okay,
good.
I love
Okay.
that. I love that.
Makes it
So
look easy.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said no. I said she makes it look easy. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Lydia, is there anything in particular? You told us that you were a stand for the closure letter in the journal. Well, let me ask a different question. The information that you found out about yourself, the evolution that has happened as it relates to completing the journal. I'm just so amazed that you got it in December and you completed it. So that goes back to move how you feel comfortable moving, right? And
Right.
that because
Mhm.
everybody's gonna have a different experience. But do you think you would have accomplished what you know now, your inner knowledge, had you not at this juncture, had you not gone through the exercise of completing the activities in the journal?
No, no, and I'll say why. I am one of those people that I wouldn't say I'm necessarily closed minded, but I think that when I get my mind set on the goal, I lock in on a way to get there, and that becomes the only way to get there.
Mm.
And trying to get myself out of the mind frame that there's not only one way to get there, excuse me, is very difficult. And then if something comes along that path on my way to getting there that creates a speed bump, roadblock, traffic sign, fork, whatever you want to call it, I am derailed, to say the least. I am in shambles because I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
I had
I
a
said
plan.
I said that I was taking 75 north to go. And you mean 75 north is not an option? Oh, well, I just can't go anymore. like, like that has been my mind frame pretty much my entire life. And I think it has sometimes put me in situations where like I gave up too quickly, or maybe I didn't try hard enough, or maybe something was like right around the corner for me and I just didn't know to turn. But now, having put my thoughts down on paper and like worked through this journal, I feel like I'm a little bit more flexible in my thinking now. It is a work in progress. There are days where I'm like, this isn't how I thought I was going to do this, and this is really hard for me. But like, to put it in perspective and like give it an example, I haven't been back to work as a flight attendant for very long. I went back at the beginning of January, and I spent most of the latter months of my maternity leave wondering how I was going to make it work, if it was going to work, if it was the right thing to do, because I could only see one way to do it. And then I came back to work and I was forced to do it a different way. And it was either do it a different way or don't do it. And I was like, well, I guess I'll try doing it a different way. And the different way turned out to be the better way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that having a better grasp on my thoughts is teaching me to be more flexible.
I love it. I love
Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely.
Look,
the whole lifetime, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
whole lifetime.
Yeah,
Yes.
as long as the train continues to move, it does not have to be a speeding bullet train. You just want your locomotion to stay in motion. That's it.
Right.
Right.
You're human,
Yes.
and you're gonna ebb and flow. You're gonna have those days, but you can look back and tell the difference. Then that's growth. That's growth. That's growth. I am so excited for you personally on your journey. I'm so excited that you. I just think everything happens at the right time. Like
Right.
all of this just came together at the right time, you know, just where you are in your life, us having this journal, you being able to go through it. And hopefully you have been able to articulate some things in the journal that you've not been able to articulate to anyone, that helped you find some clarity. And I'm hoping that everyone has that experience. So I appreciate so much you coming on and sharing. And
Yes.
yes, you are our shining star student, having finished.
Do the rest of them
Well,
love
thank
letters.
you. Yes.
Do the rest
Yes.
of them love letters for extra credit.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. I'll get right on it. And before I go, because I haven't heard it yet, maybe I missed it, I got a plug. If you don't have it, Etsy is where to go get it.
Okay.
Go get it.
Etsy is where to go. We did say it a couple times at the beginning, but yes, so you've heard it from our star student. Visit Etsy.com, search Conquering the Inner Storm. You'll see the picture of the journal. Go ahead and click buy. Go ahead and click purchase. As you can see, Lydia has been one of our many guests. And thank you, Milton, for joining. Milton was our first male guest. He was on the other night sharing his experience. But thank you. We've had so many wonderful people come on and just affirm for us that this was much needed. And the way that we put it together has been a way that people have enjoyed using it. Although it brings up some things and it's hard work, it has been joyful, and it's allowing you to see a clearer path. So thank you. We appreciate you so much, more than you ever would ever know, coming on and sharing and being vulnerable and telling all the things.
I know that's right. And please continue to give us feedback too. So even from day one, going live with the Reimagine Potential Journalers, I got to get that out. Reimagine Potential Journalers. We've kind of made some tweaks here and there. So your feedback is invaluable to us. You guys are our first early adopters, and so we really appreciate the feedback, the time spent going through everything, giving us either compliments or criticism. All of it is love to us. So if just continue to do it, continue to put this on your page, continue to figure out your tribe or your village you want to do this with, and you guys get together and we move from there. But we just thank everyone for your time and your patience for what now we're on day 7, so it's been a whole complete week.
Yeah.
And we got a few more days left to go. We'll be done by Easter.
Yeah, we will. And as always, closing it out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for taking time
Thanks,
out this
Lydia.
evening to be with us. Share this video with someone that you believe would benefit, that needs that work-life balance. Share it with your personal Facebook community, or send it to someone individually in a messenger as a gift to them. We have 6 more videos that we did prior to this one, because we've been here every day. Go back and look at those and share those as well. Leave comments that you feel like that may be beneficial to others that are looking at the videos in real time like tonight, or that will go back and look at the previous videos. But thank you. We'll be
Yes, sir.
back
Thank
tomorrow.
And thank
everybody.
you.
Love you guys.
Welcome. You're welcome, Lydia. Thank you. 8 p.m. tomorrow. We'll
Bye.
see you guys. Bye-bye.